Okay, the first thing you're going to notice is my color wheel is filled in with the letters, indicating the colors that go in the spaces all the way around. And then you're going to notice I already have my primary colors filled in. I am going to tilt mine to the side so that I'm only looking at one section. That way I can fit some other supplies into the viewing area. So I've got my three primary colors that I'll be using today. I've got a water bucket set up at my table. You'll notice I have some newspaper laying down, and I have a brush for myself, and I have some paper towel for myself to use as well. So those are the supplies that I'll need to have in place. And one of the important things is a paint palette. Forgot to mention that. So I'll need all of these things in place before I actually start painting. Okay, so today we're going to be working from I'm just going to be showing you a section between two primaries. So we'll work from the green to the yellow-green to the blue-green section that's located between the yellow and the blue on your color wheel. So I'm going to start with needing only two colors, and that would be blue and yellow. So I'm going to start with my yellow, and I'm just guessing the amount that I'm going to need and placing it in a spot in my palette. And at this point I will need to wash out my brush and check to make sure that I washed it out really well with some paper towel. So I'm just going to pinch that on the paper towel to make sure it's dry and clean. Then I'm going to be taking a dip of blue and then adding it to that space of yellow on my paint palette, and I'm going to stir it in, hoping that I guessed the correct amount to make a good green. So that looks like a pretty good green to use. So at this point I'm going to take the green and I'm going to be adding it in to this middle section here between the folded lines, because your paper should already be kind of pre-folded so you know what section gets what color. If you get it on the newspaper, not a big deal. Newspaper can be recycled. We have plenty more. So hopefully when I mix the green, I mixed enough of it to cover the whole area. And notice how I'm using a back and forth brush stroke to coat the whole area. And I'm just putting on a nice thin layer. And I'm using a swipe motion at some point, and some points I'm using a back and forth. When I get to a line or an edge, I may just put my brush tip up to the edge and kind of scoop my brush forward to make sure I get a nice clean edge along the sides. And once I have that covered in, then I'm going to move to my next color. I don't have very much green left, so I'm going to need to wash my brush and get more. I'm going to start with yellow, add it to my green to see if there was still enough green in there to turn my green into a yellow green. I think there was enough. I can use that as my yellow green as long as it shows up different. And putting it next to my yellow will show for sure the change in color along my edge. So we've got our yellow green, yellow, regular green. Now we need a blue green. So for my blue green, I'm going to take blue, add it to my existing yellow green, and see what I get. Again, I'm just guessing the amount. Looks like a good blue-green. I think it's going to show up different than the blue. again using a swipe motion or back and forth. So I'm going to continue all the way around the color wheel until I have every color complete. Always making sure I wash and dry my brush in between dipping that brush into a new color. So there you got it.